The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, is the world's leading authority on climate change. It doesn't conduct its own research. Instead, thousands of scientists from across the globe review and assess the most up-to-date scientific literature. This collective effort represents the overwhelming consensus of the global scientific community, giving policymakers a clear, objective foundation for decisions. The Sixth Assessment Report, AR6, is the latest and most comprehensive of these global health checks, telling the story of our home. The central finding of the IPCC report is unequivocal. Human activities have warmed the planet at a rate that is unprecedented in at least the last 2,000 years. The primary driver is the emission of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels. The global surface temperature has already risen by approximately 1.2 degrees Celsius, supercharging our weather systems and melting ancient ice. The consequences are already upon us, and the report highlights that many changes to the oceans and ice sheets are now irreversible. The evidence of our warming world is no longer confined to scientific charts and graphs. It is visible all around us in the daily lives of people on every continent. The report documents a widespread and rapid increase in extreme weather events. Heat waves that were once considered rare are now becoming more frequent, more intense, and lasting longer. In recent years, we have witnessed record-shattering temperatures in North America, in Europe, in Asia, leading to devastating wildfires that consume vast tracts of forest and threaten communities. These are not isolated incidents, but a clear pattern, a direct consequence of a warmer atmosphere. The water cycle, the planet's lifeblood, has been profoundly disrupted. A warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture, which leads to more extreme rainfall events. This has resulted in catastrophic flooding in Pakistan, Germany, and Australia. Entire towns have been submerged, homes destroyed, lives lost. At the same time, this same atmospheric dynamic can worsen droughts in other regions. Shifting weather patterns are leading to prolonged periods without rain, placing immense strain on agriculture, water supplies, ecosystems, as seen in parts of Africa and the western United States. Our world is becoming one of extremes. Too much water in some places and not nearly enough in others. The world's oceans have borne the brunt of this warming, absorbing over 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases. This has profound consequences. The warming water is expanding, combined with meltwater from glaciers and ice sheets, causing global sea levels to rise at an accelerating rate. For the hundreds of millions of people living in low-lying coastal communities and on small islands, this is an existential threat. The rich tapestry of marine life is also suffering, with widespread coral bleaching events turning vibrant underwater cities into ghostly white graveyards. The IPCC report lays out the immense challenges we now face with sobering clarity. The foremost challenge is the urgent and, honestly, monumental task of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The science is definitive. To have a chance of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, global emissions must peak almost immediately and be cut by nearly half by 2030. This requires a rapid, deep, sustained transformation of the global energy system. We must move away from our reliance on fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas. Accelerate the transition to renewable energy sources like solar power, wind power. This is not a simple switch. It is a fundamental re-engineering of the engine of our modern world. A second parallel challenge is that of adaptation. Even if we stop all emissions tomorrow, further warming is already locked in due to past emissions. The climate has changed, and it will continue to change. Therefore, we must adapt our societies and infrastructure to be more resilient to unavoidable impacts. Another significant challenge is equity and climate justice. Impacts are not felt equally. The poorest and most vulnerable nations contributed the least, suffer the most severe consequences. They have the fewest resources to adapt. A just transition requires wealthy, industrialized nations to lead in reducing emissions and provide financial and technological support to developing countries. Finally, biodiversity loss is a major challenge, which is inextricably linked to climate change. We must tackle climate and biodiversity together. A healthy planet is the foundation for a stable climate and a prosperous future for humanity. The IPCC report does not leave us without a map. While the diagnosis is severe, it also illuminates a clear path forward. The overarching message is one of urgency and scale. What is needed now are rapid and deep emissions reductions across every sector of the global economy. It is a shared responsibility where every action, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to the larger solution. Ultimately, the 2023 IPCC report is a call for collective action on a global scale. The science is clear on what needs to happen. The pathways to a safer, more sustainable future are available. The choices we make in this decade will reverberate for centuries. We are at a crossroads, and the path we choose now will determine the health of our planet and the future of all who live upon it.